Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We are on, can you believe this, episode 16. And we're going to talk today about everything that's going around sick, germ, sick. Yeah,
Hello.
she is the queen of the sickness
Eh,
for the last, how many months would you
Two,
say?
three? It's
It
been
seems longer than
ongoing.
that.
I know.
Well, it's all because the younger they are, the more germs they have.
Yes.
And, after the whole COVID, we all know that it's the latest, the Omicron. Is that what everybody's getting?
Yeah, I
Or is it a
guess.
whole new
No, as far as I know, it's the
version?
Omicron because they have a booster which is precisely for the Omicron at the moment.
Yes. I don't know why I've just heard this, even though my sister works for a hospital and she always gives me the updates on it. There is now an Omicron shot, and I wonder who's actually getting it. Is this a fourth shot or a fifth shot?
Honestly, by now, I don't even know. It's like you have a sub button on Amazon because something ran out and what you get is the vaccine in your mailbox.
Only I'm surprised they aren't here.
No, I think that's
That's
the
true.
it's the fourth shot, but it's the second booster.
I know, and I don't like it. It's just like, just tell me how many damn shots there is. How many shots have you been injected with? I have only had the two.
Me too.
Me and my son have both had the two.
Yeah,
And you're the same way.
exactly.
And I never had little vaccinated.
No,
The
I
girls,
didn't have my kids either. Like they're vaccinated against other things, but not the COVID
they're
vaccine.
basic. Yes, they're
Yeah,
basic children's
exactly.
shots. You're
Like
not an anti-vaxxer.
no, no,
You,
the small one is
yeah,
getting the second MMR tomorrow. I mean,
yes.
we'll see because she's still sick, so I'll probably be postponing that until she's fine. But no,
It's nonstop. And like you said, everybody I'm constantly knocking on wood.
yes, keep
As
doing
right
that.
now, everybody around me has had COVID now.
Yeah.
My kids were the first to get it a while ago. When when even was that? Was that last the beginning of this year? I can't even remember. And it was going around their school. And then CJ was the one who brought it home from high school. And then he gave it to Little. And they both had it, but I didn't. Then just recently, my mother got it and brought it home to my dad, and my dad got extremely sick because
Mm,
he is high risk,
yeah.
shall we say, and he ended up in the hospital with it because his fever got very high.
Mm,
But my mom just had this normal cough. She was a cough. She was weak. She was tired. Then my sister had been out and about. She was around the United States for a couple concerts, and she comes home and she got it. And she kind of had it like you, like bad, very coughing,
yeah.
right? You had it, cough,
For me, it
tired.
was fever and the fatigue. And then after those symptoms started to go low, I started to have like more cough and my nose. And it was just this constant fatigue that makes you feel like miserable, you know?
Mm,
But yeah.
you were, but then and baby got, little E got it pretty bad too,
Yeah,
you
it was
know?
me and her that mainly got it
Yeah.
really bad. And V didn't show that much symptoms. She was basically fine. She was just positive. And then he
Mm,
got it as well. Eventually, by the time I was getting better and I
mm.
got negative again, he was having symptoms. Or it was symptoms for a few days only. It wasn't so bad. But he was positive for a long time. And as long as you're positive here, I mean, back when we had it end of April, beginning May, you still have to quarantine. So as long as you're positive, you have to stay home. And he stayed positive for almost 10 days, even though he had no symptoms. Yeah.
And he just slept a little. Didn't he sleep a day or two and he was feeling better?
Yeah, he usually sleeps off whatever he's
Yeah.
feeling. Like when he has a flu or a cold or something, he just sleeps it off.
Yeah. So I've
Yeah.
just, but I do have to say, and I've said this to everybody who listens to me, and when I just mentioned it to you about back in, it was Thanksgiving of 2019, I had gotten really sick,
Yeah.
and I'd lost my this anything the my taste smelling anything. I couldn't. It was Thanksgiving. I couldn't taste anything, and I was so miserable.
Mm,
And I often look back at that as like, did I have one of the first cases that we didn't even know,
yeah.
of COVID back then? Because they started coming in December when people were being diagnosed with this.
Yeah.
And then it went into the next year. And then was it March of 2020 when it was like
I think
everyone
it
was
was like
freaking
February,
out?
March, and we started to have
Yeah.
all the harsh
Mhm.
lockdowns, and
You were
it
a
was,
lot worse than
yeah, they took it
Germany. I
pretty
couldn't believe
serious.
it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, up to
And
now,
that's why.
we still wear masks in most. I mean, and like public transportation and all those things, like, you know, at least lots of
You're
people
just,
still do, but not everyone.
well, and you were pregnant through it.
Yeah, that was like the biggest fear I had, to get COVID while being pregnant. And by the
Mm.
end of the pregnancy, they had the vaccine available. And lots of people were always like, yeah, you should get the shot, you should get the shot while pregnant, because you will give it, you will give the antibodies to the unborn as well, and have the immunity for the child. And I was like, no, I'm not getting that vaccine before, before I deliver, at least, and give it a bit more time, because, there were like lots of people telling about side reactions, or in general of that vaccine. Like of course, every vaccine has reactions or stuff, but I wouldn't be
Anything, medicine,
exactly,
anything has
but
side
I wouldn't
reactions.
be like risking it during pregnancy, because my pregnancy was pretty smooth, knock on wood, and I didn't want to, like somehow not jinx it in a way, but I didn't want to risk it, you know? So I was like, no, not happening.
No, no, I remember. I was just so worried about you. But you did keep V home from
Yeah,
Pitta for a
from
while
kindergarten.
because of the germs. And now you are suffering for
Yeah,
that. I mean, I literally think it's a whole thing because she is bringing home every germ that can possibly happen. I
yeah, of
remember this.
course.
I am almost out of the woods with, little because she's older now and she's in
Mm,
fifth grade. So they're not as handsy, mouthy, sneeze on each other,
exactly.
you know, fingers in their mouths. They're not like that.
Yeah.
And just like even with CJ, he will get allergies, but he has been good for a while, knock on wood.
Mm,
Who knows? Because they're by their father this weekend. They always tend to come back sick
no,
and they're
God.
there for a day or two. You
Mm,
know this.
yeah.
Um, so we'll see. But for you now, what is your main concern with what's going on and getting passed through the kid now in Germany? Because it seems a little bit harsher by
At the
you
moment,
guys
yeah,
than
it's
it is here.
really not COVID that is making its
Mhm,
rounds anymore right now. It's the
mhm.
RS virus that mainly will affect kids and babies and toddlers, and it can be pretty dangerous. So you get like there's lots of um people telling that they have their newborns or their babies in the hospital because of it's a respiratory virus that also can cause pneumonia and bronchitis. And when the baby is very small and very little, and the lungs are still learning to function properly, this is pretty dangerous. So we've been having like up and downs lately. Last week I was at the pediatrician because V was breathing in a bad way, and we
Yeah,
went
poor
there
baby. Mhm.
and we got her checked. The doctor said it is a respiratory virus, and I'd asked her like, is it the RSV? And she was like, I can't really tell at this stage, you know, it's still let's say, like the beginning stage, but if we deal with it now properly, it will not reach anywhere dangerous. And she said she will be treated the same way like we treat children in her age with RSV. So
Hmm.
she gave her like a syrup for, like, instead of an inhalator, because she said, like, do you have an inhalator at home? And I'm like, no, but I have my spray because I have asthma. And she's like, yeah, okay, we're gonna give her something. It's a syrup. It's gonna open up her lungs again. And if she does get fever and her breathing doesn't get better, you have to come back. So thankfully, it is getting better. We still just have cough. Even E only has cough. But I hope we are out of it. And this is like the biggest concern, that out of the kindergarten, she's gonna get this RSV and spread it around, like, because E is still so little and I have asthma, so I'm like susceptible to get like bad
Yeah,
breathing
lung.
as
You have
well,
weak lungs.
and I
You
would
have weak
need,
lungs.
like,
Mhm.
even during when I had COVID and I wasn't able to breathe properly, we had that oximeter and I would keep checking my oxygen level because of how bad my breathing was. And I already take a spray in the morning and in the evening, so I had to take like several puffs a day, even more. And this just gets very tiring as well. So I think at the moment, like, the biggest concern is more that RSV in here in Germany, because we're getting hit so hard by it. And even the hospitals, they're all saying, like, be careful, like, if you can, keep your children out of places where where it might be spread around, then do, because lots of hospitals don't have the capacity for the children as well.
Exactly. Exactly. You don't
So
want to, and you don't want to see your kids suffering. Because I just remember a lot, and I told you, like the croup cough,
yeah,
and what the
yeah,
barking cough, and that
yes,
a couple times, CJ would have that when he was little, and it's a scary thing,
it is.
as a mother to watch your child because they're gasping
Yeah,
for air. It's like they're breathing, but they can't catch their breath.
yeah,
And it can be scary, but hopefully you guys will start coming out of the woods. But I mean, I know ladies, all the ladies my age that have the older kids, that we've gone through the sickness, with the
mm,
little kids and the constant germs being brought home. And I just think you're getting hit extra hard because V was not
yeah,
anywhere around when you were pregnant,
yeah, that's true.
and now
And we were
it's,
masked. Like, for two
yeah,
years, we always
yep,
were wearing our masks
yep,
everywhere. So we automatically were like shielded from all the viruses and the germs and everything. And her not going to the kindergarten was also like super protection. But now it's like our immune system has to learn to fight those several viruses again that have been
yep,
around for 2 years, but
yep.
we weren't hit by it, we weren't affected by it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, and you guys had to wear masks. We
Yeah.
had people here in the U.S. I am not fighting people and would not go in stores, or people would get kicked out of stores because they refused to wear masks.
Yeah.
You were not even allowed. You would have to take a test,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah. For a
COVID
while
to
it
even
was.
get in.
Yeah.
Oh my! I mean, I was floored of the protection they were giving, but you all were still getting sick.
Yeah, that's true.
Everyone was still, it was like, no, it had no rhyme or reason to me, because I will say, at the time when this was all going on, that year I was doing delivery driving. I was working for a company that delivers food to bring in extra money. I was everywhere,
Mm.
and I would have a thin little mask on, back and forth, in and out, around millions of people for months and months and months, and I never got it.
Yeah.
So it's really no rhyme or reason about it. But let's hope that, with the holidays, we just had Thanksgiving here in the United States,
Mm.
and now off to the Christmas.
Yes.
And everyone wants to be healthy and not sick around the holidays, because the last 2 years, so many holidays have been ruined because of COVID.
Exactly. That's true.
And people couldn't, and you couldn't see people. Birthdays were ruined.
Yeah.
We had a birthday ruined here.
We too.
Did you have a birthday? Yeah,
V's
it's just,
birthday, we weren't able
yeah,
to celebrate it like how we wanted because we had COVID at the time.
yeah. And then Little had to come home because the kid she sat next to, this was for her,
Yes.
this would have been her 10th, was the year before her big 10, and she was sent home and she had to quarantine.
Yeah, I remember
And
that.
it was, she was gonna, it was bad. So she couldn't even, but they're not really even quarantining people now when you're around other people. It's just they say 10 days, you're fine.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying here. Like I told you, my sister's just finishing it up and she's headed out next week. She's like, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine with 10 days. That's what the CDC says. I'm like,
Yeah.
put a damn mask on then, because that's why it just keeps spreading
That's
and
true.
spreading. But we aren't planning on getting any more vaccines. At least I'm not. And I know
No, me
you aren't.
neither. Mm-mm.
I got the 2 originals, the one with the booster, and that's it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think for
So
me that's done.
we just hope everybody is, you know, staying healthy. And you know what I am? I've got hand sanitizer everywhere. Do you have hand sanitizer in the car?
I've always had it, like even before COVID and everything. I've always had hand sanitizer in my bag and one in the car.
I did, but I didn't use it as much. Now we literally have it like in the family room. We
Ooh.
have it in the car. I just constant the hand sanitizer, and that's like at school. I have literally bought extra jugs to have at school at the not at the
Well,
kindergarten, but
no,
in the
but
elementary
I've
schools.
always had those because I'm very freakish when it comes to
No.
dirty hands, and I always even at home, I need to keep washing my hands every
Oh,
time I touch
I don't
something.
know how many times you have called me in the middle of washing. Like, you wash your hands again. She must hurt, but you are. That's just how you are. You're clean, and then you have the 2. You're changing
Yeah,
diapers still.
exactly.
You're doing all this stuff. So that's why I laugh, and it's just like there she's washing those hands
Yeah.
again. I'm like, I am, but
Yeah.
that hand sanitizer, it's just the easiest thing to make me feel fresh if I'm not near a sink.
Yeah.
Anytime, and I have it on my keychain too.
Really?
Yes, a little hand sanitizer thing, and I refill it because the gas pump freaks me out, because
Yes.
God knows how many people
Yes.
touch the gas
And
pump.
doors
And then
or door
yes, and
handles.
then I or if I go through a drive-through somewhere and grab food, it's like they're touching money, they're touching my
Yes,
card.
exactly.
And I've always had a germ issue myself.
Yeah.
And it's just like, if I hear someone cough, I'm like, get out.
Yeah.
And see, this is how we believe my mother caught it. My parents are not people that go out, but when they do, they get COVID.
Yeah,
And
damn.
she was at a church group lady thing, and the 2 women next to her were coughing their heads off. I would have walked the hell out.
Yeah, exactly.
I could not handle that. It's like, if you are coughing around me
Mm.
with COVID out in public, no. If it's in my house, even in my house, I'm like, kids, get away from me. I can't
Yeah.
handle it. I don't know how you haven't lost your mind.
I mean, what can you do, right?
I know, but it's just like,
Yeah,
oh,
I know.
never ending.
My mom got COVID recently as well
Yeah,
with my
yeah.
brother. So
Hmm.
that's also she doesn't really go, she goes out, but not with people,
She
and
has
she
one or
always
two
wears a
places.
mask,
Yeah.
So it's like, how did she get it, or how did he get it? Because he doesn't go out that much either, and they always wear masks. So it's weird. It's like, you might get that virus no matter how. You might not be even aware of it, that you might be, I don't
Well,
know.
and again, all the shots in the world too, and people are still getting it. Because I
Yeah.
know my sister had the 3rd, but I don't think she actually got the 4th. But I
Mm.
have a friend that has gotten all 4, and
Oof.
her entire family of 5 has had COVID, and a couple of them twice. And they are completely, so
Yeah.
it's like, whatever. Let's just hope we are on the down low that everybody stay healthy through these holidays if you
Yeah.
can. Um, Keep the Kleenex handy, the hand sanitizer. We always got to have Kleenex in this house, or facial tissues.
Yes.
How do you say Kleenex? What do you call it in Germany?
Taschentuch.
Fashion tool?
It's tissue, yes. Because Kleenex is
Tissue?
basically the brand.
Yes, but we call
And
it Kleenex.
Yeah, I know. Like there was a time we also used to say Kleenex, but then again you were like, it's a brand, it's not tissues, so it's actually Taschentuch and not Kleenex because I don't
Oh,
get the brand.
Taschentuch.
The
Well,
brand
just
Kleenex
now.
is pretty expensive, so I get the own brands of the supermarkets.
Yeah, well, exactly. Well, that's why if I'm searching, it's facial tissue because, as we know here, everything at Walmart is great value. And I don't know what Target's is. You have stuff, but you Lidl. See, I
Yeah,
can say Lidl, but I always get Adika,
Edeka.
Edeka, Edeka.
Yeah,
See, I want to say Adika, but that's and you got those two stores. They have brands, right? That
yeah,
are
they do.
store brands. Well, it's always the cheapest way.
Of course.
Um, but let's end on a funny that just before we were recording, me and Lem talk a little, and I asked her, she heard what was that? I had opened up a tiny little bottle of 7 Up, and she heard this word, and I said, "Yeah, it's a 7 Up zero." And I go, "Do you know what 7 Up is?" And she is like,
What?
"Yeah, okay, are you that?" But see, I had heard that you didn't even have Dr. Pepper there.
But
So
you
that's why I said,
do.
I know. So that's why we always have something in a conversation that I will ask her, like, because there are times, don't lie, that I have said, and you're like, well, what's that?
Yeah.
And so I had said, do you have 7 Up there? Because so I just thought it was funny because she was all like giving me an I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure because I don't want to sound like you know everything, even though you are usually all knowing. But I didn't know if 7 Up because
No,
7
we
Up
do.
is a
We do.
Coke brand, isn't it?
Yeah, but we do have 7 Up in
Yeah,
those.
you have the regular stuff and you have Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
So you still have to go to an American store and you're going to have to do
I should do that.
we need to do a podcast on you having and trying some of the American snacks and
I told
stuff
you
like
there's
that.
the store, but I need to. It only
Yeah.
opens twice a week. Like
Yeah.
twice a week. How am I supposed to make time for one of those things?
Well, they'll be you drop V off at school and then you go to the store.
They don't open
It's
this
that
early
simple.
either.
Well,
open
then
at
do
like
it before you get it from school.
12 or something. Well, it's a bit far,
What?
so I need to check again.
You have
So
an excuses for everything.
yes,
I will make
always,
sure
every time.
to give you. All right, guys, stay
All right.
healthy.
Stay healthy.
And
Take care.
we will talk to you again in another week, and maybe we'll muster up something funny. We like to throw a little bit of different back and forth at you.
Yes.
Take care.
Take care.
Don't forget,
and stay
subscribe.
safe. What did you say?
Bye-bye.
Don't drink and drive?
No.
That sounded like it. Well, anyways, don't drink and drive, guys. Don't drink and drive.
Oh my God. I need a drink after talking with this one. See ya.
Bye-bye.